Welcome everyone to the fifth episode of Let's Talk Windies Cricket podcast. I'm really excited to do this episode and I hope you are too. It has been a while, maybe about a week since I released my last episode, and a lot has happened. We had the first round of the West Indies 4-day championship. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the table, who's on top, who's doing well, who are the batters, the bowlers that are doing well. We're going to take a look at that as well. We're going to also focus some time on the women as they did an excellent job against Bangladesh. We're going to take a look about some news that came through, some regional news, new CEO for West Indies Cricket, new scouting system, lots going on. And I also heard that there will be an announcement tomorrow. So if you're looking at this podcast tonight, which is the 4th of February, tomorrow, the 5th of February at 12 o'clock Caribbean time, there will be an announcement made by Cricket West Indies with reference to schedule for the year, cricket schedule for the year. I know that we are due to play England in June, towards the end of May, going into June, but I'm not sure what other matches that will be available for the day for the year. I know the CPL is going to be taking place a little earlier this year, in August, going into September. Earlier in August, going into September, which means that the CPL might also be earlier. I'm not sure. I'm also waiting for the fixtures and see how things go from there. So let's jump right into it. The championship went full force over the weekend. Lots of entertaining matches, lots of good performances by some of the batsmen, exceptional bowling by the bowlers, and there is a little secret about who the top bowlers are. And I'm sure you will have no surprise by that secret in determining who the top bowlers were um, during that first round of the tournament over the weekend. So let's go right into it. In round one of the West Indies Championship, we have the Guyana Happy Eagles on top. Okay, they won their match in flying colors. Okay, they amassed a total of 23.2 points, gaining 7.2 bonus points. And as you know, that a number of metrics are being used to give bonus points to different teams based on whether they got the first inning points, whether they made certain matrices such as the runs total and so forth. How many overs faced, I believe, also contributes to that. So they're looking for different metrics to help teams do better, and hopefully that can work towards the players' development and make them good contenders for the senior team. In second place, we have Trinidad and Tobago, Red Force, with 22.6 points, so getting 6.6 bonus points. We have Jamaica in third place, Jamaica Scorpions, with a total of 22.4 points, 6.4 bonus points. Also, we have Leeward Islands, Hurricanes, with 22.4 points and 6.4 bonus points. We have Barbados Pride, which lost their first game with 5.4 points, which came from the bonus points. Windward Islands Volcanoes in sixth place with 4.6 points. West Indies Academy with 3 points. And the CCC Combined Campuses and Colleges with 0.4 points. So that's the standing for the first round. And Guyana Happy Eagles has run away with it so far. Will they be able to hold on? They've been winning this tournament for quite a while. Let's see if they'll be able to hold on with Trinidad, Jamaica, and Leeward Islands right behind them. Okay, so let's move on to see how did the matches fare? Who played who and how did it go? So Guyana Happy Eagles, they played Barbados Pride. Guyana, uh, they batted first and scored 382 runs. That was a good total. And Barbados in their chase also had a good total. They posted 346 runs. No, I think I got this mixed up. Barbados batted first and they scored 346 runs. Guyana batted second and they scored 382 runs. Okay? Barbados then scored 112 runs. So a horrible performance by Barbados in the second innings, only scoring 112 runs. And Guyana Happy Eagles, they basically uh, did light work of that total that Barbados put up for them, which was a mere 77 runs. And they were able to do that without losing a wicket, and hence won the test match by 10 wickets. So, very good performance by Guyana. Not so good performance by Barbados, especially in the second innings. Then you have West Indies Academy face off against Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Leeward Islands batted first. They scored 358 runs and then bowled West Indies Academy for 145 runs. So that's nice to see that so far in the first two matches, three of the teams were able to surpass 300 runs, which is a promising sign. In the second innings, Leeward Islands they put up 289 for 9 declared and giving West Indies Academy a target of 503 runs to chase, but they were only able to score 100. So that's not a good show for the West Indies Academy, and I hope that they will be able to do a much better job in the remaining matches because only scoring, I mean, less than 150 when your opponents are putting up close to 300, if not more than that, is not a good sign. It's not a good sign, and that tells us that the young guys have a lot of work to do before they can be contenders for the senior team. We also have the third match we have here. We have Windward Islands Volcanoes to face off against Jamaica Scorpions. Jamaica batted first. They scored 337 runs. Another team scoring over 300 runs. So that's four teams which scored over 300 runs, and that is very nice to see. Windward Islands Volcanoes, however, did not do well. They only scored 195, and maybe that's a sign of how important Kavim Hodge and Anik Afanes is to the Windward Island Volcanoes team. Those two players did not take part in the first round because they were just on the tour in Pakistan. So they did not take part in that first round. And as you could see, the Windward Islands Volcanoes struggled without these two batsmen in the lineup. Let's see how things will work out in the second round, which I believe they should be featuring. Let's see if that happens. In the second innings, Jamaica Scorpions went on to put 277 runs for 7 declared, giving Windward Islands a total of 420 runs to do. And they were only able to get to 241 runs. A little better than the first innings, but still not able to get to that 300, which is disappointing. We also have here Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. They took on the combined campuses and colleges. They batted first, I believe, and they put on 504 runs for the loss of only 6 wickets, after which they declared. I believe there were 2 batsmen from that team that scored 100. We're going to take a look at who those batsmen are in a while. combined campuses and colleges were only able to score 222 in the first innings and 207 in the second innings. Okay, so they had to do a follow on because they did not get to that 304 runs that was required. So, all in all, we had at least 5 of the 8 teams to get over 300 runs. So that's a promising sign, and I'm happy to see that. I hope this is going to continue in every round, where we have more teams getting over the 300 line than otherwise. Um, and I'll be paying a close eye to that as well. So, who were the outstanding performers in this first round of matches? We have here Jermaine Blackwood from Jamaica, leading the runs total of 184 runs. Okay, he had a 50 as well as a century in that match. So in both innings, he did well with the bat, putting up a total of 184 runs. That's very good for Jermaine Blackwood. Is he making a comeback? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Should we be bringing Jermaine Blackwood? Because right now, our middle order, they ain't doing it. So, is Jermaine the one to reignite his career for the West Indies team? Let's see what the new scouting system says about Jermaine Blackwood performance. That would be interesting to see. In second place, we have Jason Mohammed from Trinidad and Tobago with a total of 176 runs. He also putting up a century in that game, and that was also his first innings score of 176. So a massive first innings score for Jason Mohammed of 176 runs. Is he also making a comeback to the West Indies team? Let's wait and see what the scouting system says. We have Jamal Hamilton, which I believe is a wicketkeeper from the Leeward Islands. He scored 127 runs. He scored a 50 in one of his innings. In fourth place right now, we have Jahid Guli. I have never heard of this cricketer. So, have you heard of him? Let me know. I have never heard of Jahid Guli before. And he scored 121 runs in his first innings. So, a century in his first innings. So, that's very good to see. Jahid Guli. And then we have the youngster Kevlon Anderson from Guyana, who put up 101 runs in his first inning. So, all in all, to start this year's edition of the West Indies Championship, we had 4 centuries. 4 centuries, ladies and gentlemen, and that is very, very good to see. But what's most important is not just scoring one of centuries. What's most important is consistency throughout those matches. We want to see that these batsmen who have already put up centuries continue to put up more centuries. Okay? And I know it's not going to be easy, but they need to show that they can dig in and they have the level of consistency that is required to be on that senior team. And what the West Indies team is desperately in need of right now. Good batsmen who understands how to grind and to put up big figures in test match cricket. So let's move on from the batsmen into the bowlers. How did the bowlers perform? Okay. Top of the charts in terms of wickets, we have Joshua Bishop from the West Indies Academy. He took 10 wickets, a total of 10 wickets, and that is very good to see. He had a best figure of 7 for 85 runs. Then we have Kyrie Perry with 9 wickets, and he had an innings best of 7 for 40 from Trinidad and Tobago. We also have Richie Locknoff. I have never heard of Richie before, so that's another cricketer to look forward to. Okay, Richie Locknoff from Guyana. He scored nine. He took 9 wickets with an inning best of 5 for 23, which tells me he took five in one innings and four in the other innings. We also have Tamari Redwood from Jamaica. Never heard of Tamari Redwood, so that's a new person there for me as well. He has a total of 7 wickets, and his innings best is 7 for 72. And we also have Rakim Cornwall, also on 7 wickets from the Leeward Islands, and he has best innings figure of 4 for 41. I should also mention that Walsh uh, took a fifer for the Leeward Islands as well. Um, but these are your top 5 bowlers in terms of wickets in this week's championship. So, do you guys notice anything about the bowlers in this lineup? That's a secret, which is not really a secret. Every single one of these bowlers, including the sixth bowler, I suppose, on this list, which is Walsh, which took a fifer in that uh, test match, are spinners. Every single one of them are spinners. Joshua Bishop, Walsh, and I believe Tamari Redwood, if somebody could correct me on that, were part of the spin com, uh, consortium, I believe they call it, in January. And here they are putting up a show, putting into practice what they learned from that consortium. And all of them have taken wickets, and every single one of those bowlers are spinners, which tells you that the batsmen in the Caribbean just don't know, period, how to play spin. We don't know how to play spin, and that is the bottom line. We continue to struggle with spin bowling. And as a result of that, the spinners are dominating this tournament, and I expect to see this thing continue as is. I don't expect to see fast bowlers break through here because the truth of the matter is, one, our pitches in the Caribbean are not good enough to support fast bowling, say for the one in St. Lucia. Antigua used to be a good fast bowling wicket. I don't know what's going on there now, but hopefully we will see some fast bowlers in this lineup. We need fast bowlers, okay? West Indies need good fast bowlers making a breakthrough in this West Indies Championship. There is a particular fast bowler that I want everybody to pay careful attention to, and that's Matthew Ford. Okay, he's not in the top 5 wicket takers, but pay attention to him because I believe he has something to offer to West Indies, and I believe he can only grow from where he is right now. And as long as he continues to take his cricket seriously, he can be one of our top bowlers moving forward. And that could give us a strong core of bowlers. Think of having a bowling lineup of Shamar Joseph, Azari Joseph, um, Matthew Ford, which can also bat. So he could also be playing that all-rounder role as well. And you have Jaden Seals, okay? You have Jaden Seals, and then you bring one of the spinners, okay, along for the ride. All right. So I'm really hoping. I did not mention Roach for all those who say, "Oh, what about Roach?" I did not mention Roach because Roach is coming towards the end of his career. Okay, and I'm not saying that he should not be on the team. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying moving forward, and if you want to focus on a core group of fast bowlers, those four fast bowlers would be the bowlers I'll be focusing on in ensuring that they maintain some level of consistency and that they keep getting better up until they reach a certain age where you expect naturally for them to begin to decline. Okay, so that's basically what I have for you here concerning the West Indies cricket. And we have the West Indies Championship that is upcoming. So we're gonna take a look at that and see how's that going. All right. Um, we have Guyana will be facing off with the CCC. Guyana will be facing off with the CCC. We also have Barbados, which will be taking on the West Indies Academy. And that match is going to start at 1 p.m. It's one of the new rules that was placed in this tournament. Each team will be playing one day-night game with the pink ball, and Barbados will be facing off West Indies Academy in that game in Barbados. We also have Windward Islands that will take on TNT, Trinidad and Tobago, in Arnoldsville, St. Vincent. That game is also going to be a day-night match. And we also have Leeward Islands to take on Jamaica at 10 a.m. at the Sir Vivian Richardson Stadium in Antigua. So that is something to look at and look forward to. Hopefully the batting is going to continue to be very strong, and I'm hoping that some of the fast bowlers can make a breakthrough in this round, but I don't expect the spinners to let up either. So moving on to the women, our women absolutely demolished the Bangladesh team in the T20, and I am very happy to see that. I I personally was looking forward to the women doing very well in that tournament, and they did not disappoint. Okay, they did not disappoint. I covered the first T20 already in my last episode, so in this episode, I'm just gonna run through the match, the two final matches. West Indies batted first in the second T20I, scoring a whopping 201 runs for the loss of 6 wickets, and Bangladesh was only able to get to 95 for the loss of 9 wickets in their chase. In the final match, West Indies women batted first and only scored no, Bangladesh batted first and scored 104 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. West Indies in their chase, a nervy chase, scored 105 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. And maybe this nervy chase was led to the fact that at least 3 of their uh, star players were not available, well, not available, but did not take part in the final game. Some changes were made, and they brought in players like Janaba Joseph and Mandy Mangru got a chance to play in that final game. But all in all, despite that, the West Indies women were able to remain resolute and to show their dominance over Bangladesh. And that was a huge and major victory for them, and a confidence booster for them as they prepare for the upcoming World Cup. A key performer in that tournament was Deandra Doughton, going past her 300 runs in T20Is, and she's the second West Indies woman to get to that total, and that is very, very impressive, I must say. So that's basically it with respect to matches. So let's get into some more regional news. West Indies has announced the new CEO, Daring. Chris Daring, and most of the coverage I saw surrounding Daring's performance in this, well, not his performance, but when you hear them talk about Daring, you what you hear is that they're looking for future possibilities for progress, new ideas, trying to keep up with with the changes that are happening within cricket, and they feel that Chris is the one that could get them where they need to be. Chris, in his own words, says West Indies cricket has always been more than just a sport. It is a symbol of identity, resilience, and excellence that has united generations across the region. I take on this role fully aware of the weight of that legacy, but also with the conviction that we must not stand still. Progress requires both continuity and change. My aim is to build on the foundation laid by those before me while charting a new course, one that embraces modern realities, reignites our competitive spirit, and ensures that West Indies cricket is not just remembered for its past, very important, but celebrated for its future. Great words, positive, fulfilling, and meant to give you hope. Will there be changes in West Indies cricket? Will we see? We will be celebrating our future with Chris as the CEO. This is left to be seen, and the most we can do at this moment is to give him the support so that he can continue to do what he claims that he wants to do. Hopefully, that he will take us in the right direction and that we will all be thankful for his service. And lastly, in regional news, we have the introduction of a new scouting system. So West Indies is taking it very seriously, the direction that they want to go in. They want to be more deliberate in how they go around selecting players, which I believe is a good thing. I like to see that the fact that West Indies is introducing more data analytics, more performance analytics into the decision making, not only relying on the statistical data from a match, but other factors that can influence a player. I also hope that this new scouting system can highlight the fact that using certain metrics that kept people like Rakim Cornwell out of the test match would show that this was not a good decision. And Rakim is good enough to be in this test squad despite his physical um, setbacks. And the president of West Indies Cricket, Bascom, said this: "We are moving beyond just relying on what we see on scorecards." Great, I love it. I personally believe that the scorecards do not give the full picture. I've always maintained this. Okay? And sometimes situational awareness in games are just as important. And I think that's something that a lot of times we spectators and fans we don't pay attention to. Okay, we only focus on the stats and we wonder why these persons are doing well and why these persons are doing well. But we there are other circumstances within a game that we need to take a note of. Okay, if a batsman is scoring 100 runs, but then he was dropped 4 times, yeah, we're thankful that he scored 100 runs. But we must take into consideration that the guy got dropped 4 times. All right? Is that a sign of a batsman in form, or is that a sign of a batsman who was lucky? All of that needs to be taken into consideration when determining who to keep and who to drop. It goes on to say that this system ensures that performances are seen with context and with a focus on the skills sets displayed, tactical acumen, and game awareness. We are collecting real-time data, analyzing performances consistently, and making informed decisions about player development. And from my understanding, one of the things that they did was to appoint special scouts that would go in and analyze those matches and pay clear attention to what's happening with these games, especially what's happening in the West Indies Championship right now, and identify those players who are performing or are excelling at the matrix that they require by the scouts. Okay, and the six scouts that have been implemented, they call them territorial talent identifiers. We call them scouts. For Barbados, we have Henderson Brooms. For Guyana, we have Ramnaresh Sawan, one of my favorite cricketers. Jamaica, we have Delroy Morgan. Leeward Islands, we have Samuel Spencer. Trinidad and Tobago, Gibran Mohammed. And for the Windward Islands, we have Craig Emmanuel. And I know Craig Emmanuel very well. Went to school together with him. So hopefully we can get good results coming out from these appointments. Also, Jamal Smith and Ann Brown were also appointed as senior talent managers. Okay, so I'm all for this data driven talent acquisition, and I hope that this will make the West Indies a better team for the next decade. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I will be back with you next week, hopefully, once the results are in for the championship, and I'll give you a rundown of what happened, the best performers. Hopefully, I'll be able to break down the performances a little bit more. Um, it all depends on how much time I have over the weekend. Okay, so enjoy this episode, and I'll see you next week.